the reason I wanted to record this episode today is because I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this popcorn real or not? Dude, that's so good.
We got to do an AI of Haley Joel Osment's voice.
Dude, we could just like call him and ask him. He's got nothing else going on right now.
He does love coming back to do Sora, no matter how old he is.
Yeah, no matter how old and low his voice gets, which it just doesn't stop. Like, before we get into this, I have an important question to ask you. Who would win in a fight? Darkheart, Coldheart, or No Heart from the Care Bears?
I don't see how that's related, but I think obviously Darkheart.
Well, no.
He's got a cool voice.
What powers
He's
does
like,
Darkheart have? He can't actually do anything except transform into a little boy.
He can transform into animals of all kinds.
Well, so can No Heart.
But No Heart can only do it when Shrieky shrieks. He doesn't do it on purpose. Are you
sure about that? I know he does do it when Shrieky shrieks, but I kind of thought it was something he can do at will.
But no, Coldheart probably wins. He defeats all the Care Bears in all the movies. I was thinking about this
all day. I would put all of my bets on Coldheart. That man is like far more formidable than anyone else the Care Bears ever fight. It's like a horror movie, dude. It's crazy.
The Land Without Feelings is a Care Bear slasher. It's just one by one they fall.
It's
even
insane.
Though Tenderheart, he's just like a total freaking badass as he climbs that wall.
Whoa, he just won't stop. He just keeps climbing, pulling those hearts out of his tummy. I was thinking about it, though, because it's not even really a slasher. It's like the best analog I could come to it was like Saving Private Ryan. It's like a movie where someone gets kidnapped and then the team that goes to save that person gets killed one by one.
That's a good theory. The Land Without Feelings Care Bear special is the Saving Private Ryan
of the Care Bears universe. It really is, though. I mean, in terms of like plot, but also quality. It's like the highest quality piece of media Care Bear has ever put out, in my opinion.
I can't forget that part where the Tenderheart is just like, I don't know who this Kevin guy is. All I know is that his blonde friend told us to rescue him, and that's what we're gonna do.
Good old Tenderheart.
Doesn't care about Kevin.
No,
well, caring is his thing.
Give a crap about Kevin. It's just the thing I'm doing right now. You think I'm going to stop the thing I'm doing? I do have a theory about that movie. It's just dark and depressing, though, which is that Coldheart was just like a child trafficker who was like kidnapping kids and getting them addicted to like heroin.
Obviously.
And then they turned into, like heroin
slaves.
Zombies. Watch the movie. It's pretty clear cut, in my opinion.
I mean, that's that kind of moral, at least for kids. Like, don't get in a car with a stranger.
Very clear cut moral. Like, if you ever talk to a stranger because you're feeling depressed, he will F up your life. Like,
he will give you some sort of like beer drug cocktail, and you will turn into his slave.
Just a mindless slave forever. And the only person who can save you is Tenderheart. Not because he likes you, but because he won't stop doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, glad we cleared that theory up.
Well, oddly enough, that's not what I wanted to talk about at all today.
What?
I want to talk about a game that is near and dear to your heart, I know, and to my heart, and to I think the hearts of pretty much anybody who grew up during the time that we grew up and owned a PlayStation 2. I want to talk about the Kingdom Hearts series, which is quite a series. It is an incredibly interesting and strange series of games.
It's a very sprawling series.
And why?
Yeah,
it's like these are the Disney games. If you want to play a game about Disney characters, it's Kingdom Hearts, right? That's all you got, really, besides
certainly
some, like,
don't go play
garbage.
Epic Mickey.
Right. Well, I mean, Epic Mickey's the other closest thing you can come to like an actual game. The only other things that you have are like the licensed, movie games that they stopped making in like the mid 2000s.
They had Disney Infinity for a while.
Kingdom Hearts is where all of the Disney characters have gotten their like multiverse event. They hopped on that train like 3 decades too early. Multiverses are all the rage now. I don't know Disney was just like way ahead of the time. But
I think Square Enix was way ahead of the time.
Yeah. Okay, fair
these
enough.
games have little to do with Disney.
Well, but it's strange because Square Enix seems to consider the multiverse aspect of the games to be more of like a hurdle to be overcome rather than like the draw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're like, well, we got to include all these Disney games. Let's just have them like visit different planets. Really, we want to focus on like all of our crazy characters, though. We want to focus on Luxord
as
and
long as there's
Roxas
lots of Ansems.
yeah, lots and lots of Ansems. Oh boy. Okay, so that's actually, you've hit on my theory for the day. What I want to talk about is Ansem.
What? Which
and
one?
if I say that I want to talk about the character Ansem, you might find yourself asking, who is he talking about? Because there are a lot of characters named Ansem.
Mostly all I can do is just laugh to hide my shame.
Whoa, yeah, I mean, that is something that some people named Ansem tend to do sometimes. It's less of a theory and more of an essay.
Normally we have a crazy theory, but the game itself, the actual story is crazy enough. You don't need a theory, you just need someone to explain it.
I don't think I'm going to go very far into explaining the Kingdom Hearts games today.
Yeah, they're kind of inexplicable.
I want to answer the question, who is Ansem? Who are all of the Ansems? Why are there so many Ansems? And specifically, I'm going to outline for you what I consider to be canonical 13 Ansems that exist in the universe of Kingdom Hearts.
Whoa, 13. Well, that's an important
there are
number.
13 Ansems, and that's it. 13 is a very important number in Kingdom Hearts. There's debatably 14 Ansems, but
just like there's debatably 14 members of Organization 13.
There's debatably more than 14 members, and don't even get me started on the Real Organization 13, which is a completely different organization from Organization 13, with completely different members and completely different goals. They have literally nothing to do with each other. It's like if you had Disney that was like making kids movies, and then another company came and they called themselves the Real Disney, and they just like did plumbing.
I mean, so in this episode, you're going to answer all the questions we have about
Ansem. I've got all the Ansems for you. I hope this answers your question, because if this doesn't, nothing will. At the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3, on Destiny Islands, in the intro that's going on.
Yeah, where you have these strange thoughts lately, like, is any of this real or not?
Right. Riku wanted to share a Paopu Fruit with Sora and was just being tsundere, right?
There is one true and unbreakable love in this series, and it's most certainly Riku and Sora.
Right,
I don't even know what Kairi's doing there.
I believe that Riku introduced the idea of a Paopu Fruit through the race to see who could share one with Kairi to throw Sora off. You know, he's a little tsundere. He couldn't just say, I want to do this with you. He's like, hey, let's fight over who gets to do this with Kairi. But then later that night, as they were all hanging out on that sub-island right next to the real island with a tree on it, Kairi went home first. Sora followed after, and Riku was the last one, and then he stopped Sora after Kairi was out of view and out of hearing distance, and he said, hey, Sora, you wanted this, right? And then he threw him a Paopu Fruit, and I'm like, there's only two people here and one Paopu Fruit. I think Riku's making you an offer, Sora.
We might want to mention
what the significance of a Paopu Fruit is, because I just realized our audience might have no idea why that is important.
A Paopu Fruit is something that you share with someone you love, and if you share it with them, you're like destined lovers or something.
Yeah, no, your destinies will be intertwined.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 1 has a pretty interesting opening with him having these strange thoughts lately, like, is any of this real or not? That makes you think that this strange island where they just hang out without any parents at all, sharing Paopu Fruits and playing with Titus, is like
Titus.
totally fake
Who knows?
and in Sora's mind or something.
It really seems like it.
somehow they managed to get this opening completely confused with the opening of Kingdom Hearts 2, where Roxas, who you're playing as, is in a fake
actually
village.
lives in a fake universe
and
that
yet
is all
they
kind of
don't
in his
have
mind.
It starting with, I've been having these strange thoughts lately, like, is any of this real? And also his world is much more real seeming and fleshed out than Sora's island ever was.
Yes. I hate that at the end of every Kingdom Hearts game they try and kind of put them back on Destiny Island, because I'm like, there's nothing on Destiny Island. It's the world's most empty place.
It's like an island that they just go to, like kids just go there to hang out.
Okay, so I have a lot to say about the Kingdom Hearts games in general. Kingdom Hearts games in general are like really crazy and go off the rails as far as like what they're actually about. And I think Kingdom Hearts 3 actually managed to be the craziest.
Oh no.
They really tried very hard to bring back every single Ansem in Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes, they did.
Oh my gosh. They
went
knew
out of
what
their
this
way
series
to bring
was about.
all the Ansems.
I know now more than ever. Kingdom Hearts is Ansem.
It sure is. This story starts with a man named Master Xehanort, also known as Old Xehanort. You might wonder why I'm not starting with somebody named Ansem. It's because this guy is perhaps the most Ansem out of anyone in this
series. Oh, the most Ansem-y
Ansem. He's an old dude. He possessed another character named Terra by putting his heart into him to become a young guy named Terra Xehanort. And I'll talk more about Terra Xehanort later. Terra Xehanort is another Ansem. Later, as Terra Xehanort, he split himself into two, a Heartless named Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and a nobody named Xemnas, who was the leader of Organization XIII. It is noteworthy that in Dream Drop Distance, which is the 3DS Kingdom Hearts game, there are two Master Xehanorts, because after Ansem and Xemnas were defeated, his heart reforms into Master Xehanort, and his body reformed into Terra. He was in Terra's body for a while, right? So after his nobody got defeated, Terra's body reformed, but without a heart. So it was just a shell. So he then went and got a Terra Xehanort heart from the past and put that into the new shell Terra that he had to make another Terra Xehanort, just for funsies.
I do have to point out what an amazing title Dream Drop Distance is.
Dude, 3Ds.
Like 3Ds. Wow, on the 3DS. How'd they come up with that?
How hard everybody who developed for the 3DS went on like naming their games things that had like 3Ds in them. So yeah, Master Xehanort. He's kind of, I guess, the father of all the Ansems. I mentioned Terra Xehanort. This might be confusing because there's a character named Terra and a character named Xehanort. Terra is just another guy in the series. You don't even need to know anything about him except that he got possessed by Xehanort. Xehanort shoved his own heart into Terra to make Terra Xehanort. He is also known as Ansem the Wise, or as Ansem.
Oh.
He is the young version of Xehanort, not to be confused with young Xehanort, who is a completely different character.
Oh no.
Terra Xehanort was created when Master Xehanort possessed Terra by putting his own heart into Terra. After being created, he was fought and defeated by the Lingering Will, which was Terra's Lingering Will possessing his Keyblade armor, and he somehow ended up in Radiant Garden, confused and amnesiac because of, getting the crap beaten out of him and Terra's heart fighting with Xehanort's heart. Xehanort's heart ends up forcing Terra's heart out into the Dark Figure, which from that point on, the Dark Figure becomes Ansem, Seeker of Darkness's bodyguard for some reason. Ansem, Seeker of Darkness being a completely different character who we'll talk about more later.
Ansem, Seeker of Darkness is Ansem,
the bad guy from
first
Kingdom
game.
Hearts 1. Yeah, the bad guy from Kingdom Hearts 1.
I know that Ansem.
Yay! The Dark Figure, it has Terra's heart in it, and Terra's one of the good guys, but it is the thing that shows up on Destiny Island at the very beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1. It's that big, like, Medusa-looking black Heartless with, like, a big hole in its chest.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, that's Terra. I don't know why. Terra Xehanort, that's who we're talking about. Yeah, he wakes up in Radiant Garden. He's pretty confused. His hearts are fighting. He fights with Aqua, who's another one of the good guys. He is left completely amnesiac with no memory. He is then found by Ansem the Wise, who is another Ansem, who is probably, I guess, the purest form of Ansem. We'll talk about him in just a little bit.
Is Ansem the Wise Diz?
Yeah, Diz is another Ansem, yes.
Oh no, but Ansem the Wise is not Diz?
Ansem the Wise is Diz, but
just
Diz,
trying to get.
I guess Diz is, and we'll get to this. We'll get to this.
I'm just trying to place all these Ansems and figure out who they are.
Well, game. Diz, I guess you would say, is not Ansem the Wise because he's in disguise, right? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Ansem the Wise is basically the king of Radiant Gardens, which later becomes Hollow Bastion. He also has a bunch of followers. He finds Terra Xehanort and he's like, hey, you want to be one of my followers? And he's like, well, yeah, my name's Xehanort, not Terra Xehanort. Then, for no reason, Xehanort eventually decides to start going by the name of, you guessed it, Ansem the Wise. And he starts writing reports, signing the name Ansem the Wise. He also betrays the real Ansem the Wise and takes all of his followers. And he reiterates that his name is now Ansem when killing his fellow apprentice Braig. And then he splits all of the remaining apprentices into heartlesses and nobodies, and himself into a heartless and a nobody, specifically a heartless named Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas, leader of Organization XIII.
I know that one.
Yes, you know both of those ones. So Ansem the Wise, you wanted to know more about. Like I said, Ansem the Wise, the next person I'm going to talk about, he is the purest form of an Ansem. He has literally nothing to do with the original Xehanort, with Master Xehanort, old Xehanort.
Here I thought it was Xehanort copying Ansem, but really Xehanort came first.
Xehanort came first, but like Xehanort's whole goal in life was to make a lot of himself that all became Ansem. Okay. He wants like many copies of himself that are all Ansems.
They should call him Stansem.
Whoa.
He's an Ansem stamp.
That's like a really good joke. That's so clever. So Ansem the Wise. Like I said, he really has nothing to do with old Xehanort. He did at some point in his life find amnesiac Terra Xehanort and make him his apprentice.
Okay, so wait a minute. I'm just trying to put faces to names. Is Terra Xehanort the bald guy with the beard from Birth by Sleep?
No, that's Master Xehanort. Terra Xehanort looks almost exactly like Xemnas.
So Master Xehanort is the bald guy from Birth by Sleep.
Yes.
Is he the first Xehanort?
He's the first Xehanort.
Okay, so he was around before Ansem.
He was around before all of this stuff.
Before like Ansem the Wise.
He's the father of the Ansems.
He became Terra Xehanort by putting his heart into Terra.
Yes, he wanted to be younger. Xehanort
so. Looks like who we think of as Xehanort.
No, Xemnas.
As Xemnas.
Yes.
Which Xehanort split into Xehanort, Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas?
That was Terra Xehanort.
Okay, that's what I thought.
After becoming Ansem the Wise, he took that name, and then he was like, screw this, I want to make everybody into two of everybody. So he turned all of his followers and himself into two people by splitting them all apart into a heartless and a nobody.
Every character in Kingdom Hearts has two of them.
I know.
At least.
Well, usually they have three of them, though, because they have themselves, they have a heartless, and they have a nobody. Now, the heartless is usually inconsequential, but I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Ansem the Wise. He is known as a peaceful and knowledgeable scholar. He has lots of apprentices. He's actually not a very nice guy. He's like a really, really mean sack of crap. But he has a really popular name. Everybody wants his name.
Yeah. After the end of this episode, I think maybe I'm starting to think about taking on that name.
I know, like
just
seriously, I can't believe like
everyone's
name
doing
like
it.
Ansem. Like, whoa, that's just a cool name. I wish I was called Ansem.
I mean, people will be like, "Oh, he's so handsome."
Whoa, he's so handsome. A couple of tidbits about him. Sometimes he gets really sad when his apprentices steal his name and become evil. Usually this is done by Terra Xehanort or sometimes by Riku.
Yeah.
At times he likes to dress up and call himself Diz, which you alluded to before.
Sometimes when his apprentices say that they are Ansem, he has to laugh to hide his shame.
Well, right. So sometimes he plays tricks on his apprentices, specifically usually on Riku, by pretending to be another guy named Ansem. But this usually results in him feeling shameful and then laughing about it.
But he's not pretending because he is another guy named Ansem.
Right, I know. It's pretty interesting the way he chooses to live his life. He's honestly, I think, the most mysterious of all of the Ansems. Not for any good reasons, though. So we talked about Diz. This has to do with what you just talked about, with him laughing. So Diz, which stands for Darkness in Zero. It's an acronym.
No, it's not just a reference to Disney.
No, it's not.
Next, you're going to tell me that Yen Sid is also an acronym and not just
Oh boy, have I got
Disney.
news for you. Have you ever tried reading that backwards and reversed?
What?
Diz, Darkness in Zero. This is what Ansem the Wise calls himself when he's sad and wants to dress up to make himself feel better. Basically, it's when he wants to cosplay.
That's kind of what Riku does too.
It is
Cosplays
exactly
as
what Riku
Ansem.
does, and you can see why him and Riku are such good friends. Sometimes Diz, as I mentioned earlier, Diz, who is Ansem the Wise, likes to pretend to be and to actually look like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. And this is usually when he wants to confuse Riku and play a trick on Riku for reasons
so sometimes
unknown.
Diz, who is Ansem, disguises himself as Xehanort.
No, as Ansem, not Xehanort.
Well, as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who is a heartless
Who is Xehanort's
Xehanort.
heartless.
Right, who is Xehanort's heartless. So he's disguising himself as a person who took the name Ansem, and he is Ansem, but he's disguising himself as that
as
person.
Diz, right. So he's not disguising himself as Ansem. He's disguising himself as Diz. Diz is his disguise. He takes on the persona of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, purely to play a trick on Riku. It's not really what I would consider a disguise. It's more
Riku's
like,
not already confused enough.
I know.
Like,
Poor Riku, right? Yeah. So wait, we've been talking about Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. I'll cover him now. So Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, you may know him as the main bad guy from Kingdom Hearts
Right.
1.
If you just played Kingdom Hearts 1, you'd call him Ansem. You wouldn't even know
he's
the
Ansem.
name Xehanort.
You wouldn't even know about all these other Ansems. Honestly, it's pretty odd that they all exist. It's like after making Kingdom Hearts 1, which was like a very self-contained game, even if it was a little crazy, somebody was like, I gotta make more games and I have money to do it. Let's just make the world's most convoluted plot. Ansem. He is Terra Xehanort's Heartless, who for no reason at all, despite being a Heartless, he remained able to look like a human and kept his intellect and emotions, which no other Heartless ever has done in the series.
Yeah.
Heartlesses are all like completely like mindless, brainless, like darkness serving monsters. But he's just a guy. So I don't know why that happened.
They look like Treble from A Journey Through Fairyland, which
Well, that's
is a
how
great
like the
reference
most
to
basic
throw
ones look.
Because people know
Yeah.
that better than Kingdom Hearts Heartless.
Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, used Maleficent's help to possess Riku. But right when he fully possessed Riku, Sora and Riku's heart fought him off. But then he later in that game, in Kingdom Hearts 1, he merged with the world of chaos, and that was when he became a boat. And then he was beaten by Sora yet again. And Ansem, Seeker of Darkness made his grand reappearance in Kingdom Hearts 3,
Whoa.
which was pretty great to have him back.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, depending on how you feel about Ansems.
I mean, I feel the same way everyone else does. They're great.
Yeah, it's like so cool. I love Ansem. I wish I was Ansem. In fact, I am Ansem, which seems to be what most people
that's
decide.
how it starts.
Yep. So let's talk about Ansem, Seeker of Darkness's other half, which is Xemnas. Xemnas is Terra Xehanort's nobody. He is the main bad guy of Kingdom Hearts 2. So if you played Kingdom Hearts 2, you know him. If you've played like 30 hours of Kingdom Hearts 2, you know him, because he's not introduced until like right near the end.
It's a long game. Unlike Heartless, nobody's often, but not always, retain some sort
I
of
wouldn't even say
humanish form. Well, more often than a Heartless does.
Usually they become like these skinny, squiggly, dancy dudes. And Sora kills them.
Yeah, they're
But
just
yes.
like Heartless, but they're a little dancier.
Yeah, I know. It's
And
like
white.
there is no reason for them to exist, and that's the opinion that just about everybody in the Kingdom Hearts universe has. Especially Ansem the Wise. He hates nobodies. He can't stand nobodies. He's like, you guys don't have the right to exist. You don't have hearts. He's like, Riku, if they tell you they have hearts, don't believe them. They're lying. They don't have hearts, but they'll try and trick you and tell you they do.
Yeah, and even if they seem really good, they're not good. They're bad.
No.
Like Roxas,
like,
totally good guy, but evil. He's bad.
No, I mean, especially Namine, dude. Poor Namine. I feel the worst about her. He hates Namine so much, and he just uses and abuses her. He's like, he calls her a witch to her face. Like, he's like, you witch, just change their memories. And then he tells Riku to dispose of Namine after she brings everybody's memories back. Ansem the Wise is such a jackass. He's such a jerk. He's like,
and Namine is
she's
like
won out her usefulness. Go and dispose of her.
Ridiculously pure-hearted nobody. She only does good.
She caused a lot of problems. I mean, I'm kind of with Larxene on this one. That, you know, after like completely ruining Sora's life for eternity, she then was like, oh, actually, I like Sora and I want to help him. I think she is a duplicitous little conniving manipulative, but I really like her. I like Namine a lot.
Jiminy Cricket wrote down the note, thank Nominate, so they wouldn't forget. And then after they read it, and they're like, what's this?
After
Thanks
an entire
a lot,
game,
Jiminy Cricket. That means nothing.
After the whole Kingdom Hearts 1 of keeping like the world's most detailed journal, at the end of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, he's like, wait, we're all going to forget everything. There's one thing we really need to remember, and that's Namine. We're all going to forget about her. He's like, oh, I've got an idea. I'll write it in my journal. There. Thank Namine.
At that time, they all seem to think that's a great idea. Like, oh, yeah, that'll remind
good job,
us.
Jiminy. That'll do it.
But then they wake up with no memories.
They're like, thank Namine. What does that mean? Then they move on, and they never think about Namine again.
Namine is, of course, Kairi's nobody, right?
Yes. And oddly enough, I'm not completely clear on this, but Namine seems to exist in a world that also contains Kairi, which shouldn't happen. You should only be able to exist in a nobody if your somebody has been split into a heartless and you. Once you're dead and the heartless is dead, your somebody comes back. So I don't know how they can both exist at the same time. That's a mystery for another episode, I guess.
Now, some people have this theory, which might be totally wrong, but I have heard the theory that Axel is Riku's nobody.
That can't be right.
Okay. Well, but Riku doesn't have a nobody then, does he?
Riku was never split into a heartless. What are you talking about?
No, he lost his heart, didn't he?
No, Riku's never lost his heart. When did that happen?
Okay. I don't know. He turned into Ansem.
He turned into Ansem. Yes, he never lost his heart. He just joined the Ansem
was
train.
a heartless. So it seems
it's actually it's a good question. We don't know who Axel's heartless is. We do know who his somebody is. His somebody is a guy named Leah or Lei. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's Lea. I think it's Leah.
Well, see, Christine always wanted it to be Riku was his nobody.
Right. Because best friends with Sora.
Well, because in Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2, which is apparently how you say the title of that game, according to the trailer.
Wow.
She just loved how, like, the first level is all about Roxas just like going to meet Axel for a romantic date on top of the clock tower where they have sea salt ice cream.
Sea salt ice cream. They love it. They're so, oh man. They're so into it.
I have to remind you what Yen Sid tells us, though. Nobodies don't really exist at all, despite all evidence to the contrary.
That's correct, yes. Nobodies don't exist, but they do exist. They definitely do. Speaking of nobodies, we're supposed to be talking about Xemnas. He was the leader of Organization XIII, not the leader of the Real Organization XIII.
The plumbers group.
Yes, that's right. So out of respect for Terra Xehanort and Ansem Seeker of Darkness and Ansem the Wise, having already taken the name Ansem the Wise, which, that name was quite popular. So out of respect for all of them, he uses a so-called anagram of Ansem the Wise as his own name and calls himself Xemnas, despite Xemnas not being an anagram of Ansem the Wise.
Does he call it an anagram?
Yes.
Who calls it
so
that?
he likes to take names and then put an X in them and then call them anagrams. He did the same thing when he named Roxas. He took the name Sora and put an X in it. And he's like, here's your anagram name.
So he just doesn't know what the word anagram means.
No, he doesn't know what it means. He thinks it means mixing up the letters and adding an X.
All right.
Like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, he makes his grand reappearance in Kingdom Hearts 3 because I guess everybody had to. So,
does Terra Xehanort make an entrance in Kingdom Hearts 3? I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3, by the way.
Very importantly, yes.
But how could Terra Xehanort exist at the same time as Xemnas?
That is a very good question, which is answered in Kingdom Hearts 3, and I will answer for you as well.
Oh, okay.
Terra Xehanort comes back in Kingdom Hearts 3 because Xemnas and Ansem, Seeker of Darkness were both destroyed. So Terra Xehanort, who he had split into Ansem, Seeker of Darkness and Xemnas, he reforms as reconstructed Terra Xehanort. Okay. Well, actually, I should say Old Xehanort, Master Xehanort. He reforms as reconstructed Old Xehanort, who is yet another Ansem. And then reconstructed Terra comes back without a heart. So Old Xehanort takes this empty shell, reconstructed Terra, goes back in time to find another Terra Xehanort, takes its heart and comes back to his own time and puts that heart into reconstructed Terra to create reconstructed Terra Xehanort. So I've just gone over two more Ansems. Reconstructed Old Master Xehanort and reconstructed Terra Xehanort.
Okay.
And this reconstructed Terra Xehanort is then made member 11 of the Real Organization XIII.
So, okay, wait. So, reconstructed Terra Xehanort looks like Xemnas.
Reconstructed Terra Xehanort looks like Terra Xehanort, who looks like Xemnas.
Who looks like Xemnas.
Or rather, I should say Xemnas looks like Terra Xehanort because he came second.
I'm just trying to imagine these people. And so reconstructed Old Ansem looks like...
Oh, there's no such thing as reconstructed Old Ansem.
Okay.
There's reconstructed Old Xehanort.
Reconstructed Old Xehanort looks like the bald guy from Birth by Sleep. Okay.
Yes.
But now my next question is, if that makes them new versions of Ansem, when Sora comes back after Roxas is destroyed, does that make him reconstructed Sora?
Yes, that would make him reconstructed Sora. Except in Sora's case, it's different. So that's why I say that would make him reconstructed Sora. It doesn't make him reconstructed Sora because he didn't come back due to Roxas's destruction. Sora was brought back due to Kairi's heart when she hugged his Heartless. So he was brought back prematurely and his nobody existed at the same time as him. Which is why I said that shouldn't happen. And I don't know why it happened for Namine and Kairi, but it did happen for Sora because of Kairi. Roxas did not need to die to bring Sora back. However, Roxas did need to die as part of the memory reconstruction surgery that Namine was doing for unknown reasons. We don't know exactly why.
They set up the rules for why a nobody needs to die to bring back a person, and then they got rid of Sora and brought in his nobody, but then didn't use those rules.
Well, right, because he'd already been brought back. So
that's true, because he comes back already in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then they get rid of him.
It was like
again.
He came back before the rules were made, and then the rules were made, and they had to find a way retroactively to explain why they didn't apply. But then they're like, let's get rid of Roxas anyway. We don't need him.
So then Kairi is not reconstructed Kairi.
Well, and this is the thing, is I'm not entirely sure when Kairi became a Heartless. Do you know?
It happened. She loses her heart at some point.
No. Okay, I know when Kairi became Heartless. I'm sorry, I lied. Kairi became a Heartless at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1 when Destiny Islands were under attack. She got scared, and when Kairi gets scared, her heart flees into Sora's heart. So at that point, she became a Heartless because her heart left her body and jumped into Sora's heart, and then she created Namine. And then
But her body was still around.
That's why she exists with Namine. So no, her body turned into Namine. That's where Namine came from. When you become a Heartless, your body turns into your nobody. It doesn't stay where your body is, though. It teleports somewhere else. But it is your body.
The nobodies totally exist. They exist more than Heartless do. What
they do.
Jensen talking about?
Right. They always did exist. They are the physical being that was there already. That's why Kairi can exist at the same time as her nobody, because she was brought back from being a Heartless, which I don't know if she did probably produce a Heartless, but it was just like a random monster that Sora killed without knowing it. Either way, her heart was residing in his heart, and he took her heart out of his heart by stabbing himself with a Keyblade,
which turned him into a Heartless.
Wait, this gets deeper than what you thought, though.
Oh, no.
So, right. So he took Riku Ansem's Keyblade, who I'm actually about to talk about next. That Keyblade had the power to unlock hearts. Riku Ansem wanted to use that Keyblade on Sora and unlock his heart because Sora's heart had Kairi's heart in it. And they needed her heart to go back in her body so that she could complete the keyhole to Kingdom Hearts and they could open it. It needed all the Princesses of Hearts, and she was the last one. He then fought off Riku Ansem and was like, no, I won't let you unlock my heart. And then immediately after he fought off Riku Ansem, he was like, huh. And then took the Keyblade and unlocked his heart with it. I don't know what I'm like. Why didn't he just let Riku Ansem do it if he was just gonna do it?
He
just
did
it
anyway. Mischievous smile when he does it too. Maybe it was.
I think
just
it's
a joke.
Supposed to be like wistful and like sad,
yeah, I know.
like tragic.
No, I think he was just making fun of Riku. He's like, I'm just gonna do it anyway.
No, I got incredibly confused at this point because it was not just Kairi's heart that emerges from Sora's heart when this happens. All of the Princesses of Hearts emerge. There's 8 hearts come out when he does this, and I was baffled because I was like, I can maybe figure out why Sora had Kairi's hearts in him. I can't figure out why he had anyone else's hearts, but apparently what actually happened here was the hearts of the Princesses of Heart had been merged together to forge the Keyblade of Heart, which was the Keyblade that Ansem Riku was using. He couldn't take Sora's Keyblade. He tried to. Sora got it back, so he went and forged this one out of all the Princesses of Heart. Oh. When Sora unlocked his own heart with the Keyblade of Heart... That doesn't seem
very smart, because he needed all those hearts, right?
Nah, I know, but he also needed the last heart from Sora, and he needed to unlock Sora's heart to do that, so he's like, I'll make a key, I'll use the key.
Also news to me that you can make keys out of hearts.
Yeah, I know. Weird, right? So when Sora unlocked his own heart with it, he was actually breaking it. So when he broke the Keyblade of Heart, it did unlock his heart, but it also shattered and released all the Princesses of Heart's hearts. So all their hearts went back into them, Kairi's went back into them, and it completed the key to the Kingdom Hearts.
But Kairi's body is still around somewhere, isn't it? Isn't it like floating around somewhere?
Yeah, it was just laying there. It was right behind him.
Right. So it's not Naminé.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, according to Yen Sid, your body becomes your nobody. And then he says a really cryptic thing where he's like, and then the nobody will remain even after the body fades away. And I'm like, why would the body fade away? What? Like it would rot, I guess, but the nobodies aren't zombies. No. So I don't know. Perhaps a nobody is somehow created. It's like it's a reflection of your body, but it's not your body. It just like is based on your body. I don't know. It's pretty incomprehensible.
Just because it's mildly related, I have to say my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 1 was always the Monstro level, just because Riku is like such a cool, ruthless badass, just being like, Kairi needs a heart, and that stupid puppet has one for some reason, dude, but he's like a toy puppet. He doesn't need one.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take that.
I'll take that one, and he's just like, Sora, the girl that we both like is in trouble. Why are you protecting this stupid thing that's not supposed to even have a heart?
Yeah, fair enough.
Although I'm not sure what putting Pinocchio's heart into Kairi's body would have done.
No. So there's 2 more things that I have to say about that scene. Number 1 is that also contained my favorite part, but my favorite part, oddly enough, was a Pinocchio line. They imply that Pinocchio has had his heart removed. So I'm not sure what happened to his heart. But then he's laying there and everyone's like, no, Pinocchio. And Geppetto jumps over into him. He's like, Pinocchio, are you gonna be okay, buddy? And Pinocchio's like, I'm not gonna make it. And he like fades away. And then his nose grows and he's like, oh, I guess I'm fine. Because he's like, oh, it was a lie. I am going to make it. And I was like, that's pretty good.
Oh,
so that was pretty funny.
Just trying to psych everyone out.
I didn't need a heart because I'm just a freaking puppet. Two other things to note about this scene that I hadn't been planning to get so deep into at all. The reason Kairi's heart was inside of Sora. There's two possible widely agreed upon reasons for this. Number one is that night that Destiny Islands fell to darkness, Kairi was surrounded by darkness and she got scared. And Aqua had long ago cast a magic spell on Kairi, which led Kairi's heart to leave her body and seek refuge in Sora's heart, keeping her safe.
Uh-huh.
This spell is supposed to activate anytime she's scared and in mortal danger. And this spell was the reason she showed up on Destiny Islands, because if you remember, Kairi was originally from Radiant Gardens. She wasn't from Destiny Islands like the rest of them were.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't need to remember that. They didn't know where she was from, but she was the reason that Sora and Riku were both so into the idea of exploring and leaving the island. They were like, whoa, she's not from here. That means there's other places.
So is she just like an orphan that they were hiding on the island?
She is. It's pretty interesting. We don't really know who her parents were, who were taking care of her, but presumably
she's going
the
to
adults
school later
that.
In Kingdom Hearts 2, and she's like starts with an S, right?
Sora.
When they told the voice actor how to pronounce the name, it's not Sora.
Sora.
It's Sora.
The other possible reason that her heart ended up in Sora's heart, which I think is actually more believable, because Aqua's magic spell wasn't supposed to remove her heart from her. It was just supposed to keep her safe and move her somewhere else, which it did when it teleported her out of Radiant Gardens, right? So why would it only teleport her heart later? It doesn't make sense. So the other possible reason is that Sora's heart is special. This is implied canonically. His heart builds connections with many other people. And while his own heart isn't necessarily that powerful, he draws on his connections when he's in battle to get extra power.
He's an anime character.
Exactly, yes. And sometimes these connections that he builds lead to him pulling other people's hearts into his own to protect them and shelter them from the darkness when they're on the verge of losing their hearts. So that's kind of his power. Yeah, he makes the heartless by taking their heart. He just grabs it and pulls it into his own. This happened explicitly with Ventus. Ventus, who's like the pre-Sora. Yeah, he's like the pre-Sora. Aqua's like the pre-Kairi, and Terra is the pre-Riku.
Oh, and I get why he turns into Xemnas.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Yeah, you got it. So that happened with Ventus. Sora ended up with Ventus in his heart. And it's probably what happened when Destiny Islands was under attack and Kairi needed someone to protect her. So Sora was like, yoink, and took her heart into his without noticing it. Okay, so now moving on from that incredibly complicated little tiny piece of story, like that is one single event in Kingdom Hearts 1 that needed like a massive explanation. Oh, okay. I would like to talk about Riku Ansem. And the good news is we're about halfway through the Ansems.
Oh no.
I don't even know exactly what's going on here. So
I've always been very mystified by it. And it's so annoying. Because like the character you love most from Kingdom Hearts 1 is Riku. And he's cool, but he spends most of Kingdom Hearts 1
most of his time as
being
Ansem.
And then so it's like, all right, Kingdom Hearts 2, they're looking for Riku. Yeah. And then when Riku first shows up, he's blindfolded again, and he's like way taller, and he's not Riku, he's Ansem.
Yeah, he's Ansem. So, okay, Riku Ansem, he can come in like three basic appearances. He can look like Riku. He can look like Riku wearing a purple outfit with feathers around his waist, or he can look like Ansem. When he looks like Ansem, he can wear a variety of outfits, sometimes incorporating stylish decisions such as blindfolds. Other times just dressed like Ansem himself, other times wearing an Organization XIII cape. Sometimes he wears blindfolds as Riku as well. I'm going to get into that in just a minute.
By looking like Ansem himself, we mean looking like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who is Xehanort's Heartless.
Yes, sorry. Yes, he looks like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. He does not look like Ansem the Wise. Okay. Riku Ansem is Riku possessed by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness.
Which is something that Ansem, Seeker of Darkness can do. And to my knowledge, no other Heartless can do.
No. It's just something he can kind of do. And I'm not
and
sure why
he can only
did
do
it.
to Riku.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's because of the whole Terra Xehanort thing. Maybe it meant that Riku was like predisposed to having his heart inside of him or something. He got Maleficent to corrupt Riku enough so that he could possess Riku. So for some reason, and this is where things get interesting.
Yeah, they were so boring before now.
Yeah, whoa. Everything else is boring. This is getting interesting. For some reason, Riku Ansem usually looks like Riku when Ansem is in control, and like Ansem when Riku is in control. Which is the weird part.
Wow. It would be too simple the other way around.
Unless he gets fully possessed, and then he looks exactly like Ansem. Well, Ansem
and
is
he
control.
Gets like
he doesn't even
tan
look a little
and
bit like
buff.
Riku anymore. Yeah, exactly. Whereas he's wearing like Ansem clothes. So even though all of this is like basically finished in Kingdom Hearts 1, as Riku begins to work with Diz, he still seems to be like very much Ansem. He seems to be telling people that he is Ansem. He introduces himself as Ansem.
I'm just laughing to hide my shame.
Yeah, well, this has the effect of making Diz laugh and feel a lot of shame. Well, and the funny part is Riku does not know that Diz is Ansem. So it's pretty funny that he's introducing himself as the guy who he's talking to, but he's not. He's introducing himself as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. We mentioned this before. He likes to blindfold himself especially before major fights on the side of skyscrapers.
Uh-huh.
He says that this is to keep himself from lying to himself. That's why he blindfolds himself. He's kind of embarrassed about looking like Ansem, so he actively avoids his best friends Sora and Kairi, which causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, even though
a lot of heartache for
falls
Sora.
onto his knees at the end. One of the best moments is like, I looked everywhere for
I know.
you.
and he wasn't even like out of commission. He was just there. He was just like, I don't want to talk to Sora today. I'm going to do something else. Also, he needs more affection than you know. So,
but yeah, that I do know.
However much affection you think you know that he needs more than that. You gotta go give him some affection.
I need more affection than you know. Oh man, that was just genius.
Do you want to explain what I'm referring to there?
Right.
You can take it away.
Well, first of all, let's just go back to the theme song for Kingdom Hearts 1. That's the most iconic. Everyone loves.
Song.
Like,
it's
don't get me wrong,
like
I love it.
Pop song
but
ever.
Do I really have to meet its father?
Whoa. Dude, maybe someday when you're older, you'll understand what I meant.
So Simple and Clean.
No.
Everyone loves Simple and Clean.
I don't think life is quite that simple, by the way.
Now, when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out and Sanctuary was the theme song, it's not a bad song, but I was like, it's not as catchy as Simple and Clean until, I realized that, whoa, she's speaking backwards at the beginning. And actually, this song is genius because if you play Sanctuary backwards, she says, I need more affection than you know, backwards. And then the rest of the song, she says things that are forwards, sound like my sanctuary. But when you play it backwards, it sounds like I was Ansem.
There are hints in the song to play it backwards. There's certain sections of the song when you play it normally where she sounds like strange. She's like, instead of saying my sanctuary, she says, right? So it's telling you to play it backwards. And like you said, when you play it backwards, of course, those backward sections of the song actually begin to make sense, but the rest of the song sounds like she's saying, I believed I was Ansem. I believed I was Ansem.
Yeah.
And then the part that is actually backwards says, I need more affection than you know. So that part's definitely what she is actually saying. The rest of it is just conjecture, but
it's kind of it. You have to interpret it, but it sounds like it. And so I mean, pretty genius move on their part to hint to play it backwards, and then turns out the song is all about Riku and how he was Ansem and he needs more affection than you know.
The other interesting thing here, which I think is really cool, we should have done a whole episode about this. Like, this is an actual fan theory that is like something we could get into.
Yeah, Sanctuary, just a whole episode about Utada Hikaru's Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, when played forwards, is about Sora and Kairi. It's about basically all the stuff he's gone through, all the battles he's been in, and wanting to find a sanctuary, like a place where he can be safe. And specifically, it is covering the events in somewhat Kingdom Hearts 1, but also in Chain of Memories. And the best part is when you play it backwards, it's about Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories. And the coolest thing is Chain of Memories, first you play forwards through as Sora, and then you play it backwards as Riku. Like after you beat it as Sora, you get to play Chain of Memories backwards from the last level to the first level as Riku. It's so cool. It's amazing that they made Chain of Memories and then they made this song which reflects Chain of Memories for Kingdom Hearts 2, which came out after.
Which is, it is not the theme song for Chain of Memories, though it should be. And also, as it plays in the opening video for Kingdom Hearts 2,
it shows shots of Chain of Memories, which was not a 3D game at the time.
Yeah, they redid parts of Chain of Memories in 3D to show Sora doing stuff like on like the upper side of the staircase while Riku is running on the underside of the staircase.
Yes, it's so good.
Another hint that you should play it backwards.
Right. Well, I mean, it's completely like, to me, I mean, this is not even a theory. This is just the way it is. That's the way they designed it, which is insane because how could they design it like this? Now, the next Ansem I would like to talk about is related to everything that we just covered. His name is Riku Replica. This is an artificial replica of Riku Ansem, who was created. He made his debut in Chain of Memories.
Right. It's Repliku.
Yes, Repliku, as he is also known. Repliku was originally created by Vexen, one of the members of the original Organization XIII, to test Riku's strength. Riku Replica thinks he's Riku, but isn't, and then finds out he isn't, which causes like a massive meltdown, and like he's like, ah!
Which is confusing because actual Riku thinks he's Ansem and finds out he isn't.
Chain of Memories was all about everybody trying their hardest to confuse Sora and Riku. I mean it, like legitimately. That's the whole plot of that game, is Organization 13 trying to confuse Sora and Ansem the Wise trying to confuse Riku. I don't know why Ansem the Wise was doing that. He's just a big jerk. He thought it was fun. He's like really, really mean. Riku Replica. He really likes Namine, like a lot, which is good because nobody else gives a crap about her. So I'm glad that he likes her. He fights with Sora a lot. He seems to have like Ansem powers. He can, turn on his purple outfit and access the dark powers of Ansem. This is my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 3, basically, is that, of Kingdom Hearts, the series, I guess. It's in Chain of Memories, he makes a promise. Well, no, he actually never made this oath, this promise, but he remembers making a promise to Namine that he will always protect her. He didn't actually do that. It's a memory she put in his head, and she put the same memory in Sora's head, and they got mad at each other about it because they're both like, I promised to protect Namine. No, I promised to protect Namine. And then she's like, neither of you promised to protect me. I just made you think you did. And then Riku Replica is like, I don't care if it's a fake memory. It's the only memory I've got, and it's the only memory I've ever had. So I will always protect you, Namine. And then in Kingdom Hearts 3, he fulfills his oath to protect Namine by leaving Dark Riku's body for Namine to possess. Repliku comes back 2 times, like as 2 different characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. That is due to the presence of Dark Riku, who is yet another Ansem. Dark Riku is the Riku replica from Chain of Memories. Back when he thought, so this is from the first half of Chain of Memories, I should say. Back when he thought he was real Riku. Okay.
There's a Repliku of Repliku is what you're telling me.
No, they are the same person, but one of them has lived a longer life. So, Riku Replica from Chain of Memories eventually found out he's not Riku and then went on to become the protector of Namine. Before he found out that he was not real Riku, he was taken out of time by Master Xehanort to join the Real Organization XIII in Kingdom Hearts 3. That's why there are 2 Riku replicas in Kingdom Hearts 3. There's one who is taken out of time and is a bad guy, and one who is Namine's protector, who is just, the guy who has just always been existing. Around. Yeah, he was just always somewhere.
But how did he get out of the Chain of Memories? Wasn't that like an alternate universe?
Yeah, everyone got out of there. I mean, Riku got out of there, Sora got out of there. Mickey was there too. He got out just fine, right?
And but it was
Donald,
just
Goofy.
completely like just ruins Sora's quote unquote conclusion at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. I know now more than ever, Kingdom Hearts is light. Apparently that door opened to Chain of Memories.
It actually gets even more convoluted than this.
Oh no.
Sora did not lock himself inside of Kingdom Hearts, but Riku did.
Right. Okay, that's why he's looking for Riku.
Was the bad guy for most of the game, but then he had his redemption at the end when he chose to lock himself inside of Kingdom Hearts to save everybody. As you reach the climax of Kingdom Hearts 1, they keep talking about how we need 2 key bearers to seal this door, one from the outside and one from the inside. And we're like, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And then we're like, oh, Riku's going to do it because, you know, he needs that redemption. No, freaking Mickey does it. What's Mickey even doing there? He just freaking shows up out of nowhere and is inside of Kingdom Hearts. Riku has a reason to be there. Mickey doesn't. He's just there. And then Riku's like, okay, I'll close the door. And Mickey's like, good, I'll lock it. And I'm like, let Riku do it. This is his redemption. What are you doing here, Mickey?
But I do really like the moment at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Riku and Sora are just, you know, chilling, holding hands on the beach or whatever.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's so good.
I just love their conversation. How like Sora's like, I always thought you were better than me at everything. And Riku's like, I always thought I was better than you at everything too. But there's one thing
actually that happened in reverse order, but
right. Anyway, it's just good conversation. And then when they somehow get teleported back to Destiny Islands,
dude, a giant door appeared for them.
Right. And then I just think it's good continuity that Sora hugs Donald and Goofy, and then Riku hugs Mickey because they were best buds and they went on adventures together.
No, it's true.
Sora doesn't even know Mickey.
Mickey is Riku's Donald and Goofy. Okay, wait, hold on. So we were talking about, what were we even talking about? How did we get into
Repliku and Dark Riku.
And Dark Riku, yes. So Dark Riku is Riku replica from earlier in time, transported to later in time. He likes to pretend that he is the real Ansem possessed Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1, but he knows that he isn't. He does know that he is a replica by that time.
Okay.
So this next guy who I'm about to talk about, I mentioned him way back at the beginning of this essay, this vocal essay. I'm going to talk about young Xehanort. Young Xehanort is Master Xehanort's time-traveling younger self. He is rank 12 of the Real Organization XIII. I guess Xehanort just needed another member, so he's like, well, I guess I'll just go grab myself when I was younger.
Does he have hair when he's younger?
He does. He looks like Xemnas.
So he looks just like Xemnas, okay.
And like Terra Xehanort, yes.
But Terra Xehanort and Xemnas are also members of the Real Organization XIII?
That makes it a very interesting game because Organization 13 is made up of like 7 Ansems.
Well, they have 13. They could have just...
I know. So I wish that they had used all of the 13 Ansems, but then they would have had to put Ansem the Wise in the Real Organization 13, and he's supposed to be a good guy.
I assumed that maybe after Kingdom Hearts 2 and all the other stuff, they would have been like, maybe we should be less complicated. But no, they were like, let's triple down.
Far more complicated.
Let's highlight all the complicated stuff from all the previous games and mix it all up together.
No, this theory only works because of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like before Kingdom Hearts 3 existed, there was like, I don't know, like 7 Ansems. And now we got like 13 of them. So, I mean, 7 wasn't nearly enough. What kind of a series only has 7 Ansems? I mean, come on.
Gotta be 13.
The last Ansem that I would like to talk about, and then I'm going to sum up all of the Ansems, is probably the most unexpected Ansem, and it is Namine.
Whoa.
So, Namine technically becomes an Ansem at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Even though she continues to look like herself, Namine is put into the body of Dark Riku replica at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. So in doing so, she does become an Ansem as well. Okay, so I'm going to now list everybody who I consider to be an Ansem. We've got Old Xehanort, the father of all of the Ansems, except for some of the Ansems. We've got Terra Xehanort, likes to call himself Ansem the Wise. We've got reconstructed Old Xehanort and reconstructed Terra Xehanort. We've got the actual Ansem the Wise. We have Diz, who pretends to be Ansem Seeker of Darkness. We've got Ansem Seeker of Darkness. We have Xemnas. We got Riku Ansem, Young Xehanort, Riku Replica, Dark Riku, and Dark Riku Namine. So there you go. That's 13 members of the Ansem organization.
Yeah,
Ansem.
that just wouldn't have felt right without 13 of them.
I know, exactly. Oh boy. That's it for today. I'm sure we can make more episodes about Kingdom Hearts if we want, though. Or if our viewers want. And if you
let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, we're active on Twitter. You can write to us. You can email us. And in fact, we are a completely independent and self-funded podcast. So if you like what we're doing, you can always support us on Patreon. This is important because, we don't receive any sort of funding from any entity, which means that we can cover what we want, when we want, and how we want. So if you like how we cover stuff, and if you like the fact that we get all these guests on our podcast and we're not beholden to any specific companies or anything, then give us some support.
Yeah. Music for this episode was provided by Christine.
And remember that I've been having these weird thoughts lately, like the popcorn isn't real.